I'm Rob Wallace, I'm your life coach and spiritual mentor, and this is Self-Love with Law of Attraction. Hello there folks, and welcome to Module 1 of your Self-Love and Law of Attraction course, and the title of this module is Who Are You? Now in this module, I'm going to be describing what Law of Attraction is in a nutshell, because I'm very aware that many of you who are coming through here come from all different various understandings of what Law of Attraction is. So I decided just to create a module that was going to start from the ground up, just so that everybody, by the end of this module, could be roughly on the same page. Now, what Law of Attraction teaches you, in a nutshell, is what you see outside of yourself. That is, what you see outside in the physical reality is a mirror reflection of your thoughts and feelings. But what does this actually mean? Well, if we go back to teachers such as Neville Goddard, who was one of the most biggest influences in what we know today as Law of Attraction, well, he put it like this. The world that you see outside yourself, that is, from the moment you start as a physical being, right to the further outer reaches of the universe, all of this reality is a projection of your imagination. All of physical reality which you see outside of yourself is a physical projection, that is a physical representation of your own imagination. And so what I want to try and do before we get into the subject of self-love is to understand, what does this mean when your reality, your physical reality, is a projection of your imagination? Well, what you need to understand is that everything is energy. All there is energy, and everything comes from this one source of energy. It's what Abraham Hicks calls source energy. And I want to go a little bit deeper into that just so that we can grasp from a very profound level what this actually means. Now, most of you will understand that everything physical is made up of atoms. That's the one thing which we all share in common. We all understand this common knowledge that everything is made up of atoms. You're made up of atoms. What I mean is your physical body is made up of atoms. Let's look at the structure of an atom. Now, what most people don't realize is that an atom on the outside appears as solid. There's matter on the outside. But the biggest mystery of the atom is on the inside, which appears empty. And it's one of the biggest mysteries to the scientific community. Why is the inside of an atom empty, and what does that actually mean? Well, it means there's no physical matter. It means there's nothing to be measured, but there must be something there which creates the outside of the atom. The atom doesn't just appear out of nowhere. Physical matter just doesn't appear out of nowhere. But the question is, where does it come from? And this is one of the most profound questions that is baffling scientists even today. They may not admit it, but it's true. They have no idea where matter comes from. But in actual fact, this has been taught to us by the great mystics of all ages. We've been taught where matter comes from, but the scientific community, because it only looks at what is physical, it doesn't want to acknowledge what is non-physical. Just because something is non-physical, it doesn't mean to say that it doesn't exist. It just means that it is non-physical. Now, what I'm trying to say here is that you're made up of atoms, which on the outside is physical, but on the inside, it is non-physical. Now, what does this mean? Well, it means this. The non-physical part of you and the physical part of you is made up of the one body of source energy. The non-physical part of you, that's the non-physical expression of you, is where that energy is expressed in its most liberated form. And the physical part of you is where that energy is expressed in its most condensed form. Now, let me give you an analogy which should describe this more clearly. Think of water as the one body of energy. An iceberg or a block of ice of any sort is the most condensed version of water, you see? It's where the water molecules compress so much that it turns into something that appears as solid. On the other end of the spectrum, we have steam, which is one of the most liberated forms of water. And here's the interesting part. We think that the expression of the iceberg and the expression of steam are two separate things. No, they are two expressions which are connected from the one body of water. You see, it's water expressing itself into two different expressions. But water has a whole host of expressions, such as snow, sleet, ice, hail. Water can turn into tea. Water can turn into juice. Water can turn into a puddle. Water has so many expressions. But when it comes to source energy has an infinite number of expressions. You see? So the physical body and the non-physical body are all part of the one body of source energy. So what I'm trying to say is that simultaneously and at the same time, you are physical and non-physical. Now, let me retranslate what I've just said. You are both human, that's physical, and spirit, which is non-physical. So at the same time, simultaneously, you're both body and spirit. And both of those come from the one body of the divine. And the divine is the non-judgmental, unconditionally loving source energy. Now, folks, this is something which you can take or leave, okay? But Neville Goddard, the man who made law of attraction popular, the man who influenced all of our law of attraction teachers today, he taught that what most people understand as God has been absolutely and utterly misunderstood. In actual fact, what I've just taught you is exactly what religion was supposed to teach you. I'm not saying it is what it teaches you, but that's what you were supposed to be taught. And these teachings can be found everywhere throughout all the number of millenniums throughout humanity's history. We've been taught this in a whole host of variety of ways on how reality works, and that includes through religion. But unfortunately, religions over the last 2,000 years have become absolutely and utterly misunderstood. And what we know as source energy, that is the one energetic source, the one energetic law which runs through all of creation and which becomes at one with all of creation. That is, the source energy is at one with you. It does not work apart from you, it works as one with you. This is what was supposed to be taught as God. God is simply the meaning for the one law which runs through all of things. It was not meant to be taught as something which is separated from you. The divine source energy which runs through all things is not something which sits separate from all physical things created. It is a source energy which works at one with everything in which it creates. So, what has this got to do with self-love? Well, as we've been taught throughout the ages, The divine source energy, whichever divine source energy you're talking about, whichever religion you're talking about, whichever philosophy you're talking about, whatever teaching that you've come from, there's always one thread which runs through all of these teachings, and that is the divine source is love. The divine source isn't made up of love. What I mean by that is love is just not part of the divine source. Love is the divine source. Love and the divine source are the same thing. Do you understand the difference? What I mean by that is love is not just part of the divine source. Love is the divine source, and the divine source is love. Now, how does this relate to you? Well, if we understand that we are a physical body and a spiritual body at the same time, and if we further understand that these two separate bodies are actually one body of being, which comes from the divine source energy, then what we are is love. You are love. Love is not something which you seek to become part of you. You don't have to seek love. You just have to realize love, because you are love. You see, you are love. It's not something you need to chase after. It's something you need to go inside of yourself and realize. You are the creator of your own reality. You are love. And when you realize you're love, the only thing you're ever going to want to give out is love. And what you will attract back to yourself is love. So when you know love, when you understand what love is, when you understand that love is you, and when you understand that love is the only law, there is no other law other than love. The one law which runs through all things is love, and you are love. So the exercise that I'm going to give you today is going to be interactive. We're going to do this exercise here and now, okay? And what I want you to do is get a pen and some paper, or just pull up a Microsoft Word document or any Word document that you have. What I want you to do is ask yourself, who are you? And then I want you to write down your address. That is, I want you to write down your physical address. Okay? So you start off with your name, then you're going to start off with the number of your house, then the name of the street, the name of the city or town or village that you live in. You could put the postcode down if you want, but then what you're going to do is you're going to say what region of that country that you live in. And then we're going to move on to the name of the country. And then you're going to move on to the name of the region of the world that you live in. For example, is it the Australias? Is it the Americas? Is it Europe? What region of the world do you live in? And then after that, you're going to write the world or Earth. Okay? Now you're going to write the solar system. And after the solar system, you're going to write the Milky Way or the galaxy or whatever you want to write. Okay? And then after that, it's up to you, because if you're well versed on how the universe is mapped out, you'll actually realize that you can go on for eternity. But at the end of it all, you're going to realize that the universe is your home. The entire universe, that is the infinite, endless universe, is your home. And what I'm talking about is the physical universe. Everything that is made up of matter is your home. Now what I want you to do is to write down your address, but go in the opposite direction. Go inwards. So instead of going outwards into the universe, you're going to go inwards into yourself. And here's what you're going to do. You're going to write down your name, and then you're going to go further into yourself. And there's a whole host of things you could write. You could say your name, then you could say your body, or the outer layers of your body, such as your face, your skin, your blood vessels, your bones. Then you could go to the vital organs. And then after that, you're probably going to go to your heart. You're probably going to go to your brain. But then I want you to go further. What's behind your brain? What's the non-physical part of yourself which you know exists that sits behind the physical organs of the heart and the brain? It's imagination. Imagination is the non-physical part of you which sits behind your physical heart and your physical brain. It's what sits behind your whole physical being. But that's not where everything ends. What is behind imagination? What is behind imagination is the one divine source in which everything comes from. And that one divine source is source energy, which is also known as love. Love is your home. That is where you belong. That is where you currently reside. That is where you always have resided. Love is your home, the eternal body of being, the divine source energy, which holds all things together, including your spirit and your physical body, is love. Love is your home. So just as much as the outer physical universe is your home, which seems so infinite, which seems so impossible to understand, only because in the physical reality, everything appears as separate. Everything appears as impossible to reach because we have this appearance of distance. But when you go into yourself, into your infinite imagination, which holds all possibilities, infinite possibilities, you will realize that as infinite as love is, there is no distance. There is no distance between you and the eternal divine source energy which we know as love. Love is your home, and love is where you belong. So I hope you enjoyed this little exercise, and I hope you enjoyed the deep discussion which Module 1 tried its best to go into, just to give you a basic foundation on the deeper levels of law of attraction. It's a broad subject. And don't forget, there's PDF notes which you can refer to in order to do further study into the deeper teachings of law of attraction. So don't forget to check those out. And I'll see you lovely folks later in Module 2, okay? Have a wonderful day. God bless, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye-bye.